A runoff election will decide who fills one seat on Myrtle Beach City Council.
Voters go back to the polls in 2 weeks to decide if Mary Jeffcoat will keep her seat or be replaced by John Crutch. News 13's Hannah Rucker joins us live right now. And Hannah, you spoke with both candidates.
Bob, it's the last 100 yards of the race. That's right. I met with both Crutch and Jeffcoat today, who tell me they refuse to lose momentum. A familiar face on City Council. Mary Jeffcoat is finishing her 4th year and is hoping to stay right where she is.
2 years ago, we elected a new mayor and 2 new council members. We have 2 council members who were re-elected with experience. I'm sort of in the middle, but we've worked real hard to build a team that works together, and I want to keep that team together.
If re-elected, here's what she says are her top 3 priorities for the coming year.
Yes, public safety, we've made a lot of inroads and we've got more work to do. Number 2, low taxes for residential property. Number 3 is transparency and accountability.
Meanwhile, John Crutch, although a new face in the election, the local realtor isn't a stranger in the community.
Everything I do, my heart is Myrtle Beach. I know I'm not a native of here. I know that I didn't grow up here, but this is my home.
He wants to make sure Myrtle Beach is an attractive living destination for every walk of life.
I think it's important to build this city not only for the visitors and tourists that call this place home, that fuel our economy in a great way, but to build it for the people and build it for the residents who sometimes in some cases have felt neglected in certain ways.
Now, the runoff will happen on November 19th, so they hope to have a good turnout for that, and all the winners will be sworn in January. Now, this is just one of several runoffs in our area. You can actually read about those races right now at WBTW.com. Reporting for News 13, I'm Hannah Rucker.
Good evening, I'm Nicole Boone.
Hello, I'm Bob Juback. Tonight's coverage you can count on begins with mental health resources for first responders.
Agencies across the country, including right here in Horry County, are making changes to make sure responders get the help they need.
News 13's Hannah Rucker tonight, right off the top, joining us live from the Horry County Police Station, and learn how that they've made some changes, new changes, even in the past week. Hannah?
Long, unpredictable hours, high stress, lack of sleep, being away from family. It's no secret there is a mental toughness that comes with this job, and Horry County wants to make it clear to their officers that it is okay to not feel okay.
If you're struggling, that is not weakness. Please reach out for help.
Soaking in a wide range of tragedies on a day-to-day basis, police officers don't always have the time to emotionally process what they've seen.
Myself included, you see things that obviously most normal individuals are not going to be confronted with in their life. You see traumas and you see things that are just tough to deal with.
Just added to their wellness program within the last week, the BESTOW philosophy.
BESTOW is an acronym for Beyond Survival Toward Officer Wellness. And it's a holistic approach that a lot of it is educational driven, basically giving officers a toolbox of coping mechanisms.
Horry County Fire says they strongly utilize their peer program, and firefighters are trained to identify red flags a fellow responder might be showing.
Our supervisors know what to look for, so we're never going to keep somebody in a situation for too long. So they're constantly watching their people and saying, is this person getting stressed out, either mentally or physically, and we'll pull them, we'll cycle somebody else in.
He says fire and police have common stresses, but also different.
But the nature of the calls being very medical heavy, you have to be okay with blood, breaks, scrapes, bruises, and even death, unfortunately. So when you mix that in with long hours of this, it can get really stressful on somebody's mind. So we like to think we have the tools in place to help them.
Here's something really cool. All of the local libraries in Horry County have also added some books catering to mental health for first responders and their families. So be sure to check those out if you are a member of someone in a first responder or you yourself. Live in Conway for News 13.
Holding animal abusers accountable. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed a bill that would make animal cruelty a federal felony. Now it needs to be passed through the Senate before becoming law. News 13's Hannah Rucker spent the day with local animal advocates and animal control officers to learn how this new law will help to make it easier to prosecute local abusers who try to flee. Hannah?
Something we see far too much of along the Grand Strand. Now, this law will make it a crime for those who intentionally engage in animal cruelty. Abusers could face up to 7 years behind bars. A message that hopefully gets through. Each pair of eyes telling a different story of pain, some worse than others. Horry County animal control officers stay busy in rescuing local animals from abuse.
Because Horry County is so diverse, so we have different types of abuse that happens across the county. We have the urban types and then we have the rural types.
Lieutenant Wyatt says this law will allow officers the help of federal agencies to prosecute these abusers and also track them down when they try to flee.
We're very close to North Carolina, and so therefore, if some of our investigations lead over into North Carolina, it would give us the authority, with the federal government's help, to prosecute these people that are trying to hide by jumping state lines.
Violations of this law could result in a fine as well as up to 7 years behind bars. Much harsher punishments than what is being implemented currently.
A lot of times they are released from jail the very next day, that same day sometimes, if they even go to jail at all, and they are getting probation and minimal fines when they should be facing serious jail time.
Winnock says not holding these abusers accountable can be a danger to society.
Studies have shown time and time again that people who abuse animals are more likely to then commit crimes against people and children.
A huge takeaway from this is if something doesn't seem right, whether it's your apartment complex or neighbor, it probably isn't. File that report. And another takeaway is the Horry County Animal Center is actually looking for volunteers right now, and you might be able to hear some of these dogs barking as well. They also desperately need to be adopted and well treated. Live in Conway for News 13, I'm Hannah Rucker.